Now on live, you can see that I'm standing on a very vast prairie, and every year by mid-July, in the Zhaosu Prairie, we're about to embrace the most beautiful moment of the year. By my side, you can see the beautiful wildflowers and also the growing grass. In mid-July, we have relatively higher temperature compared to the rest of the year, but still, when you look at my clothes, I'm still putting on some light coats. It's around 30 degrees Celsius, and we feel very comfortable, and it's very cool too. Especially when you do a comparison between the Ili Autonomous Prefecture in Xinjiang, Uygur Autonomous Region, with the rest of the country. And this place, this prairie, is standing at an altitude of more than 2,000 meters. And here we have very fast-changing weathers. Just some moments before the opening of our program, we have very beautiful sunshine, and now it's a little bit cloudy. Maybe during our program, we can even witness some light rainfalls. And here on the screen, you can see this wetland park. And not very far from our spot, you can see the herder guiding this herd of the horses. In a few moments, we're about to have this spectacular moment. It's called the herds of the heavenly horses galloping across the river. Here we have raised more than 120,000 Ili horses. And here we have more horses than people here, and we also have the highest ratio of horse to people proportion. According to the historic records in the West Han Dynasty, we have already begun the raising of the Ili horses. And from our drone pictures, you can also see the flowing river in the Zhaosu Prairie, deep in the Tianshan mountain area. It's a very beautiful place for the sightseeing, and very soon our keepers of the horses, they're about to guide our herds of horses into the river. I've also my colleague covering the story over the past few days. And now I'd like to give the floor to my colleague Xue Jiao. Hello everyone, my name is Jiang Xuejiao. Good day to all of you, dear viewers of CCTV News. I've been staying by the riverside over the past few days. In just a few minutes, we're about to see the galloping of our heavenly horses, and with the order of the herder, and guided by the captain horse, the whole herd of horses, they are galloping across the river, creating the waves. And they are also accelerating even when they are running inside the river. They are still demonstrating the beauty of their strength. As we can see, they are galloping through the river for about 100 meters, and now they are making a break. They're about to make a U-turn after a short break. They will get together and start another galloping trip. After a short break, they have started again their galloping, and this is an absolute spectacular moment for all of us to see. Every day we hold 4 sessions of this kind of performance of horses in the scenic spot. We have in total 200 of them. So the whole herd of horses of 300 will be divided into 3 groups, and they can take the shifts. As you can see that by arranging those shifting duties, our horses can have some time to do the performance, and for the rest of the day, they can take a rest. Every year by summer, our herders will carry their troops, carry these herds of the horses by the riverside to take some fresh water from the river. And the river is called the Tekesi River. It's also one of the largest branches of the Ili River here. Total length of 200 meters. In performance, we can find 40 Ili horses. And why is that? Why the 40 in number? Because we have to make sure that there will not be any traffic jam when the horses are galloping across the river. And there are also some other considerations. For example, you have to take good care of the horses. You have to make sure that they're in a very safe status. And to carry out the performance, you also need to consider the speed of the river current. The water current should not be flowing at a too fast speed. You also need to check out the river basin. Now it's a little bit cloudy, but if you come in another day when there is sufficient sunshine, then you can see the beautiful scenery of the galloping herds of the horses with their skin reflecting the sunshine, its golden color. Every moment when there is the spectacular view of the galloping horses, everyone cannot help but taking out their cell phones to take some precious photos. For the performance of the horses, their height is at about 1.65 meters, and they are in very good shape of the body. And when the depth of the water is above their knees, then during the galloping, these herds of the horses will create beautiful waves and the foams. And now because it's the rainy season and we have some of the flooding in the river, for some sections of the river, there will be greater depth of the water, and it can even reach the belly part of the horses. So to ensure the security of our horses, we have to change the sites of the performance. On a daily basis, we can receive 5,000 visitors to this area because in the scenic spots, we can not only enjoy the galloping show of the horses, but also the beautiful vegetation, the beautiful landscape around here, like the snow mountains, and also the nature behind. With the galloping horses, we feel very comfortable in the nature in this environment. And for the Zhaosu County, it's very famous in our country. It's known as the hometown to the heavenly horses. In recent days, we are organizing the Heavenly Horse Festival, and on the Zhaosu Prairie, we have also prepared a great diversity of activities. Later on, my colleague will give you more details. Thank you very much, Xuejiao, for your introduction to the galloping of the horses. And in real time, we are presenting to all of you the galloping activity of our heavenly horses. Now, again, the horses are back home. They are enjoying some intake of the silage of the grass. And maybe some of you are just new to the program. So I'd like to repeat the background. We are now giving you the live stream program from the Xinjiang Uygur Autonomous Region, more specifically in the Zhaosu Prairie in the Ili Autonomous Prefecture. And Zhaosu County is very famous for its Ili horses. And it's exactly the county that has raised the greatest number of horses, up to 120,000 of them. This is not a very populous county with a population of only 200,000 people. So maybe here we have the highest proportion of a horse to people. Every summer on the prairie, you cannot help having that idea of mountain on the back of the horse. Previously, my colleague has introduced the activity of the galloping of the horses. In the meantime, every summer we organize a huge diversity of other activities. For example, here we have a small mountain, and very soon we're about to kick off another activity closely connected to the Ili horses. So let's go closer and check it out. Maybe you're wondering how we can have the best view of the heavenly horses galloping across the river. If you take your own car, then you can search for the Zhaosu Wetland Park. After your arrival by the entrance, you can ask for the calendar of this performance. Every day we hold 4 sessions of the performance of horses. And you can see we have relatively simple conditions of the road. When you take your car here, maybe you will not be allowed to drive directly into this scenic spot. Because you can imagine every day we receive a huge amount of tourists here, so it's not possible for everyone to drive their car inside, but still we have arranged some shuttle buses to carry you from the entrance into the scenic spots. And the sites for each of the sightseeing area or the activity, the performances. And here inside the wetland park, you can have the chance to enjoy the beautiful scenery. On one side of this park, the Ili horses are doing the galloping performance, but to the other end of our park, they are preparing for another activity. Maybe some of you have never heard of that. I've invited one person in charge here, Mr. Wan. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please kindly introduce this upcoming event to all of us by the horses? We're about to have one of the popular activity from the Kazakh people. So, sir, could you please give the order to the performers, and so we can have this show right now. We have the performance. They are wearing traditional Kazakh clothing. This is a horse racing on the back of the horses. And it's also the communication between the potential lovers of the future. When a young man of the Kazakh ethnic minority falls in love with a beautiful lady, then both of them will get on the back of the horse, and this young man will send out a signal, and then he will wait for the response from the side of the girls. This is a game of communication. It's a very interesting game. For example, during this chasing game between the young ladies and the gentleman, after the signal is sent out by the young man, the lady can choose to raise up gently or very violently the strap or the whip in her hands. If she's interested in that gentleman, then she would just put down that whip very gently. And for the adult Ili horse, the highest speed of their galloping could reach 40 to 50 kilometers per hour. And now the performance, they are holding a parcel of the skin of the goat. And now they are doing a speeding game. They are chasing one another in order to obtain that piece of the goat skin. So there are different teams of performance here. It's like they are doing some game or competition. Inside one team, the members can pass around that mutton skin. And they also have to pay attention so that the skin will not be grabbed by the members of the other teams. And just now, one member has thrown out the skin. However, the skin was not captured by the other team members. Maybe it's due to the super high speed of the galloping of the horses. You have to finish the whole set of actions with fluidity. And this kind of games come from the old tradition of the Kazakh people. Usually when there's important events, festivals, or weddings, people will organize this competition racing on the back of the horses. At the end of the game, the winners can also receive some prize. So just now we have enjoyed two different horse-related activities already, the galloping of the horses across the river and also the chasing game. Usually it's the chasing game between the young ladies and the young gentlemen. And there is also the whip in the hands of the girl. When the lady put down gently the whip, it means she's interested in that gentleman and they could become a future couple. And for our herders, they are still on the back of the horse and they are competing one team against another to obtain that piece of the skin of goat. Local people, they have started the horse riding from childhood. For example, recently I've run into some kids, really small kids at the height of my waist, and they have already started the training of the horse riding. So altogether, we have enjoyed some interesting shows of the horses, and next I'm about to show to you the galloping of tens of thousands of horses on the prairie of Zhaosu. This has been organized yesterday at noon. A dozen of herders in the Zhaosu County has gathered together their herds of horses. It's in another place about tens of kilometers away from our standing point. With the order of the keeper of the horses, the whole herd has started their racing, and all of them are guided by a head captain horse. When there is the movement, when there is the galloping with the captain, with the leader of the horse, then gradually one and another will start to catch up. And finally, for those standing in the middle of the herds, they will also receive that signal and they can also start to gallop. When I was there yesterday, I was so touched and moved by this scenery. And for those horses, during the racing, they will not hinder the security of the others. And during the massive galloping, from time to time, they will try to keep a safe distance from the other group members, and they will also readjust their speed and position. I've got the chance to witness that view from a relatively higher place, and it's really breathtaking. Maybe you would wonder why we organize so many different activities of horses in summer. Again, for those newcomers to our program, Zhaosu County has the largest number of the horses at the county level, up to 120,000 of them. But for this small county that is not so populous, with a population of residents of only 200,000, that number of the horses kept by them, it's so surprising, and it's really a big one. For people living in other regions of the country, in the cities, for example, they have to take lessons in order to acquire the knowledge of horse riding. But here, for the local residents of Zhaosu County, it's just one part of their DNA. And for the young kids from their childhoods, they have already started their experience with the horses. And local people, they have also worked very hard to prepare all those diversified entertainment activities so that they can attract more visitors to their locale, and they can also present this beautiful natural splendors to the rest of the country. During our trip here, we have witnessed those entertaining activities, cultural activities. A local county is building up the animal raising, animal husbandry sector. They have a whole industrial chain for the production and also for the development of the horses. For example, they have the animal raising, the horse raising, and also some downstream sectors. For example, some cosmetic products based on the horse products, and also for the meat of the horses, etc. So upstream and downstream, the development chain, they have already put in place those pillars of the sectors. And in the summer season, they organize interesting activities. And local horses have also participated in some large events. Over the past days, I interviewed some people, and they told me something about the most expensive Ili horse. It's called 小黑风. Its value has exceeded 1 million RMB. So today, the horse is no longer what it was. Decades ago, it's no longer a simple vehicle for transportation. It's one part of the local economy, and it's also one symbol of the fast development of the local economy. During our introduction here, you can also see from the background the herders. They are still doing some performance with their horses. Again, we have that chasing game. If you have the opportunity to come to Xinjiang Uygur Autonomous Region, especially during the period stretching from June to October, please don't hesitate to come to the county of Zhaosu. You can enjoy the beautiful landscape, the nature, as well as the horse-related activities. Because usually for people living in the big cities, we are so stressed in our daily works. So why not check out the beautiful landscape here in the Xinjiang Uygur Autonomous Region. So again, dear viewers, my name is Sumo. I'm from the CCTV News. If you have some time during the summer vacation, please don't hesitate to come and check out the horses' performance here.